Welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk Thinker Right, in my living room, doing what I do for you. Today, I want to go back into my sage mode where I can teach. I got a good lesson for you today. Glad you tuned in. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message in a story for life. This is my life lessons that I've given you. I see you tuning in and receiving them. I'm going to keep on giving it to you. Just keep tuning in. Let's go. They're going to get better. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Knowing yourself and how to be yourself. I got you. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of obtaining spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's the mission. That's what I'm on. Now I got a question. You should have an answer. It's called Know Thyself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. Tune in. I can teach you, That's what I do for you. But a person who knows not and believe that they know, dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a human spiritual alarm clock. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. Into Mayat, be true. Oh yeah, it's all about Mayat, all about truth. As they say, be true to thyself. Mayat wants you to be true to yourself also. That's what she advocates. But today, right thinkers, I got my book here. We about to go to school, all right? This information that goes back to 7/25/2019. These are lessons that I had laid out. So somebody gonna get this lesson. Today's your lucky day. Let's go. It's titled The Study of the Mystical Teachings, which is the hidden teachings, which is Shita Netta, of the right thinking philosophy. Okay, let's do it. The teachers of right thinking philosophy and Egyptian mystical spirituality are called the Ku or the Heku, meaning utterance of words of power, and put all together is known as the Meduneter. Medtuneter. It means words of the God or the Netta. Medu, divine speech. Okay, understand that. So the concept that we get from the Bible is written by God. No, the concept comes from the Meduneter, which is the writings on the pyramid walls, declaring speech from God. Again, conceptually. But this is the concept that we follow, this concept that leads me to become enlightened. Watch this. Let's understand that this is where I got my knowledge from. That's why I wear them. That's why I respect them. All right, here you go. Today's modern Egyptologists, the scholars, study of Egypt, ancient Egypt civilizations from the early 19th century, watch this, to present time has labeled these utterances as spells or incarnations, prayers. We all do that, okay. But in a way, this is the right assessment. Why? Because these utterances are to be understood as powerful words or words of power when spoken with what? Meaning and sincerity, feeling. It can have a transforming effect on the mind. This is why the ancients did not have letters. They used pictures. They used what we call hieroglyphics. We know them as Meduneter. But it was a way of teaching you, impressing on your mind what you need to know. They saw that Horus, they knew that was Horus. They see the sun did, they knew that was Ra. They identified with pictures. Okay, picture worth 1,000 words. So it was writing more words than with the pictures that we do with words right now. Okay, but understand that that's the whole point about becoming spiritual. It's a mind thing. You have to have knowledge to know God and know thyself. It's a lesson you have to learn for life. This is what, and what the transformation affects on the mind, aka Nihas spiritual enlightenment. This is what is This is what allows the expansion of the consciousness, which we call the mind, the brain. Now, the Heka, which is the word of power, should not be misunderstood. Watch this. In the context of the Western civilization, everything they think of as magic or witchcraft, spells, voodoo, etc. When the Christians pray and talk in tongues, it's okay. The ancient did it, it's all this other stuff. I'm just saying. No, I ain't going there. Stick to my lesson. All right. Here you go. Now, but to think of it as such would be a grievous error. We don't know that concept. To think of what we do was this nonsense or just intellectually mental laziness, not doing your homework, not understanding and studying what the concept that they was doing, just label it from your perspective. Not a good idea. That's judgment. It's not good. Say that for death. Modern culture, watch this, egoism, just trying to make up a bunch of correlations to the lower forms of spiritual practice. Meaning they want to say what they want to say about somebody else's, but they want you to follow theirs. Not good. I'm just saying. So this this gross misunderstanding of the concept that the ancients used was yield the nonsensical conclusions that the ancient Egyptian religion was merely a myriad of wrong, conflicting stories, mythological stories and presumptions that ancient Egyptian spirituality is really a conglomerate of idol worshippers and occult nonsense. I take offense to that as a study of mystery system of Egypt. So, but I'm not going there. I'm not going to play that game about modern. No, I'm not doing none of that. My lesson to get you to understand that knowledge has been around a long time. All you have to do is acquire it, learn it, live it, and it becomes yours. And it's been working just as much as the blood of Jesus. All that other knowledge is just as powerful as spirituality. With belief and faith, with knowledge, makes it possible for that to come true. Get back. Here you go where I'm at. Now, but really that the fact is in ancient times, the ancient Egyptian spirituality, they call it the mystery system, we didn't call it that. The invaders who came in called it that. Why? Because they didn't know what we was doing. And guess what? Before that, we drew followers just like right thinking philosophy is doing now. I'm doing the same thing from all over the world. Why? Because they have internet and I got YouTube access. I can talk to people everywhere. Okay, so thanks to modern technology, all those who listen to my shows, follow my right thinking philosophy concepts, are starting to recognize what the real greatness of what the Egyptian and right thinking concepts. If you study it and right thinking philosophies and live Mayat lifestyle, to this very day, I'm doing it and it's still productive and it still works because I'm still professing it and teaching it and passing it along. It haven't changed. It still works. Knowledge is power, which is the goal personally of all the temple systems of Egyptian education system. They taught Mayat lifestyle. They didn't have a bunch of choices. You either live Mayat or you fulfilled your ego. Simple as that. It wasn't a whole bunch of, well, I want to do this, I want to do that. Nope. Truth don't need a whole bunch of different areas and aspects. One way, that's it, the right way. Bam. I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. Now watch this. The temples was a formidable powerful force for what? Human, mental, physical, and spiritual development. They had healthcare, they had social government, all intact. Mayat was about society, not one individual. Everybody had to follow that law. The judgment system, the government system, anybody that's in judicial concept had to live by the laws of Mayat. As a Mason, we got a phrase, willing to be tried, never denied, and willing to be tried again. That means I'm comfortable in who I am and what I'm doing. If you don't believe me, just try me. Do no more. If you don't believe me, just watch. But the idea, watch this. Now, my study of mystical spirituality for the last 30 years and I look at it from the perspective of our present time right now. I'm breaking it down. That means that my right thinking philosophy teachings will need to be what? Understood in the context of today and how it affects your life right here and now. I call it life lessons. With my experiences that I went through, with the knowledge that I acquired from studying, the things that I know, I can tell you things that's going to help you in life. Why? I know them. I experienced them. What good would it do anybody if I taught what I knew about the history of the great sages, such as what's that? Patel Hotep, who taught this over 5,000 years ago. Hotep was meant peace. How you obtain it? Gain knowledge, live right. Mayat offers you purity of heart by speaking Makaru. When you know the truth, you can speak the truth. Okay? Now, watch this. If you can't understand more or less my right thinking concepts, I will put it in a context in which it can be used if you know and understand where I'm putting it to you. I'm trying to break it down, make it as simple, like my man said, break down the fine powder so you can digest it, make it consumable, and then you can use it. If I'm talking above your head and you don't understand what I'm saying, it's a waste of both of our time. So I'm trying to speak to you on a level, layman terms, common sense. I ain't trying to be intellectual. I ain't trying to be all, no, I'm trying to have common sense, give you information that you can actually use. Sorry about that. What was that? Okay. Now, as the teacher of right thinking concepts, whether or not you believe in my concepts, you practice them one way or another, don't make a difference, or you just simply interested or curious in understanding them. But you really should look at them from a perspective of the teachings of right thinking philosophy are something which is alive and valuable today, just as it was thousands of years ago. I'm just dressing it up in modern clothes. Understand, with my instructions of right thinking philosophy, you're guaranteed to work for all those. Guaranteed to work for all those who wish to seriously commit and learn to master themselves. These are lessons for those who want to obtain them for the betterment of themselves. That's all it is. That's right thinking philosophy. That's what I offer. My right thinking philosophy concepts, if you learn them, you will use them and get better by doing what? Using them in your everyday life for the sole purpose of what? Discovering what? The deeper meaning and the power of transforming the human mind from ignorance into light. And now you can call yourself a master of yourself. You need to establish understanding and get knowledge so that you can profess having knowledge of self. Right thinkers, that's the goal of all right thinkers. You can explore the teachings more thoroughly if you choose, but I'm giving you the basic stuff that you can use. Most people don't really realize that the mystical spirituality is like an advanced form of psychotherapy thinking. It incorporates not only a keen understanding of what psychology, what human emotion, and what social relationships, how to get along with others, playing nice in the sandbox, so to speak, but also of the relationship between what? The individual human consciousness, which is the brain, along with the cosmic consciousness, which is God, heart, mind, coherence. Unlike the discipline of the Western psychotherapy or psychological treatment of the mental, emotional, and nervous disorders. The mystical spirituality psychology is not concerned with only the mentally insane, but how to bring them back. If you're ignorant, you're considered mentally insane. Right thinker's job is to bring you back to sanity, to know yourself. If you don't know who you are pretty much insane. All right? And bring you back into what? The mainstream of society, or what we call normal human life. I'm trying to control myself. With knowledge of self, you transform yourself, and if you have psychological issues, you can work on them for yourself. If you go to a psychiatrist, he tell you this, tell you that. I don't subscribe to that. Most black people don't. I ain't crazy, I ain't going to psychiatrist. But you become your own psychiatrist when you obtain knowledge of what? Self. Every now and then I need to be shrunk. I mean, that's one event. I just want to just get off a bunch of stuff. But you shrink yourself by what? Reflecting and constantly staying on guard. Why? Because you know that God's always busy. God consciousness keeps that. Okay, don't forget. Be on guard. Now watch this. I'm almost done. Appreciate you. Let's see, we're going a little long, but it's a lesson. I hope you're getting it. Hope you enjoy it. This is because our so-called normal or social structure cannot be so normal if it constantly turns out, listen, psychos, okay, or those who seem to suffer from serious mental disorders in which the mind cannot function normally and the ability to deal with reality is impaired, or worse, lost. Drug addiction, alcohol addiction, sexual addiction, anything that's going to take you out of your natural order of things, you got to realize ain't good for you. Because it gives you physical pleasure, because it satisfies, that's not always good for you. If you're living to satisfy the physical body, you're going to have fetters. You're going to have problems. Okay? Let me wrap this up. I'm sorry. I get off the deep end with that. But yeah, we're at the ability where we are. Okay, right here. Now, these mental illnesses and the psychosis will include, watch this, triggering these issues. Watch this. Anger, hatred, greed, lust, envy, jealousy, depression, schizophrenia, sadinism, manic depression, psychosis, and paranoia. These are all things that a mental ill person won't be able to distinguish and won't be able to control because his mind is not woke. His mind is not open. He's ignorant. So he's pretty much not there. Okay? Consciously. Last part, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm about done. I appreciate it. Now, the structure of the modern society, which when I was coming up, you couldn't stand on the corner and just blamelessly just talking. No, they call the people in the white coats and come take it somewhere, mental illness. They shut down mental institutions. People stop having mental illnesses. It's another lesson. I ain't going there. Let's get back. All right. So the society is so corrupt, mentally corrupt, to the development of what? Our social stresses. And that's based on what? The passion and greed of those in power and the lust that they have to do what? Obtain material things on somebody else's physical and mental diseases. This is due to the pollution of the environment. They also pollute the environment and also our mind. You taking money over human minds, human consciousness, and people doing better. It's bad. Okay, I'm about to wrap it up. Again, the ordinary practice of today's religion does not incorporate the mystic religious experience. Why? The aspect of becoming enlightened or becoming born again, whatever it is y'all call it. But y'all lacking that. You're missing the third part. You got 1 and 2. You're good at 1 and 2. But again, missing that 3. All right? Or again, the Holy Ghost. Even more the Holy Ghost. This shortcoming is the main reason for all the strife and dysfunction in our family relationships and or our social relationships, and most importantly, our spiritual relationships. In today's modern culture, we're not spiritual. We're just drones. We're just going through the motions. Not good. There's no love for one another. There's no concern for one another. We get into a spiritualist society. That's not good. Cashless, okay. Spiritualist, I can't deal with that. I'm glad to appreciate you tuning in. I got more. It's a good lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.